It's a lovely day. It's been a lovely day. I was out on a shorter, but still half a day road trip with one of my daughters. It was fun. We were in the forest. We entered an old church. We were at a big playground and, you know, had fun, saw snakes, found nice stones and all that. And I'm rounding off the day by running and walking a bit, just enjoying the whole scenery here. Now, analyzing everything else is easy. We love that. People talk about sports because that's easy. We can always analyze the games. It's something outside of us. We analyze the political situation, we analyze the economy, we analyze this and that. And even smart people analyze a lot. Come to conclusion, discuss them. It's very interesting, everybody thinks so. However, since people really don't care about one another, we rarely analyze ourselves, and we rarely have anybody to share those thoughts with. That's a fact. You know what Buddha said? Buddha said, life is suffering. I like the word Buddha, because in Bosnian, Budan means awake, just like Buddha. And biti, Buddhi means like being, and just being basically. So it's one of those, how do they call it, Indo-Aryan language twists. So we rarely analyze ourselves. We rarely get time to do that. It's not promoted because nobody cares about that. But it's very important. Like, just imagine how much insight one can gain about the world around us by being analytical, by reading, by actually writing something, like connecting some dots on a piece of paper, using the hand and the pencil on a paper. It's a rarity these days. And we feel we kind of expand our understanding of what's going on. And yeah. But we rarely do that with ourselves. For example, I did this YouTube post on the YouTube page of mine. It's like a feed. But I wrote something about how when you remember those times and places in your life where you were very deeply content and light in your body, you know, like jiggly, like when I see my daughter outside sometimes, and you know, like when I see them often, that kind of feeling. We all have our good memories, and it can be something that perhaps at the moment didn't really seem like a big thing, but in the end, like after a couple of years or something, it turns out to be a fond memory. So if we, for example, remember, as I wrote there in that feed, places and moments which made us good, deeply good, relaxed, creative. You know, there's a beautiful lake there. And if we think about what got us there and what took us away from there, or what is keeping you there, maybe you're doing really good, maybe you're still there. And if you actually write down those, like let's say you make a list out of 5 or 10 places or times in your life, like what setting really boosted the best within you, really made the best blossom from you. What got you there? What state of mind? What kind of actions brought you there? Was it being a coward, not taking any chances? Was it to trust your gut feeling about doing something? What kind of people perhaps were involved with, you know, kind of helping you or not helping you? If you kind of make a mind map of all of that, it takes about half an hour to actually get started. And you know, just think about all the realization one makes by analyzing the world, everything around us, how the trees work, how economy works, this and that. But if we put some time on actually analyzing ourselves, and you can start from any point, I think it's good to start from what actually brought the best out of from you, and what brought you there, and what aspects kept you there, and what aspects brought you away from there. Now we can all use like not excuses, but yeah, excuses, like, you know, having children or working, getting into the daily kind of, you know, Monday, Friday, weekend kind of lifestyle, something like that. But that just means that actually there's a big need to actually write down, map it out, to actually get away from that. I'm not going to say actually one more time, but yeah, this is my English after a run, and I'm kind of thirsty too. But I really think this is important, something I've been focusing on for the last weeks, because as I said in an earlier video this year, like now it seems like, depending on where you are, you kind of have a break from everything that's been going on from the last 2 years. So if you plan to do something, if you always had a wish to fulfill something, purchase something, explore something, visit some place, do it this year. For the purebloods, it might be, well, before another long winter. I don't know. We don't know. And we have been kept busy analyzing everything else around us. We forget about ourselves. So that's that. Humans want to make this world better, but they really don't care about one another. So we always have this kind of third point of relation between us. There's a topic, there's a result, there's a thing over there which we can agree or disagree upon or analyze, and that's fine, that's good. But we should have a place, let's say, hopefully you have 1, 2, 3 friends who you can deeply connect with, where you can discuss various topics. I mean, you know, and figure out a bit how the mind works, what's going on in our heads. Because the human head is like a crazy Japanese chef. He's just cutting, he's just cutting, he's just cutting. You know, the brain is always analyzing, thinking. That's a natural process. In Zen practice, kind of eventually one realizes that that's just a thing that's happening. You know, that crazy Japanese chef is just cutting all day, making all that delicious food, just going crazy, cutting, like the brain is thinking, analyzing, imagining, doing all sorts of things. And this is, of course, if you're a creative, imaginative person, you will have that kind of energy also touching upon kind of darker topics or self-critical topics. That's why some people who are creative or you know, imaginative might be very self-critical or kind of like go very deep down into something self-destructive in a way, a pattern. But if one realizes that the head, the mind is just a chef who's just cutting, cooking, you know, doing all that all the time, constantly. Even when you're sleeping, you're dreaming, you're doing something, it's always going on. Even when you're relaxed, even when you're like deeply relaxed in nature or something, you still kind of have this brain going, well, yeah, I'm relaxed, but I just want to say that this is very nice. This is what I call to be relaxed and mindful. It's always analyzing and describing. It does it in a slower pace, and that makes people think that they are extra relaxed. But if you actually just not disregard, but realize that this thing over here is just analyzing. And what happens, you know, people have a tendency to pick out something from somewhere a detail from somebody else's life, somebody else's something, and compare that to oneself. You know, this is common, and this is something I've heard a lot from people who are, you know, like passing certain kind of decade, you know, 30s, 40s, 50s. They might go, oh, they might start to compare negatively, you know, and then they might like go down that drain of thought, and that's the Japanese chef just doing the cutting, the wooking. For me, for example, I know my mind is capable of kind of like imagining and thinking about everything, self-critical, self-uplifting. So when something comes like self-critical, or where you realize like something about yourself which is perhaps not the best, or whatever, you know, just let it be, let the mind do its work. And for me, afterwards I always come out like cleansed, like stronger, like pure in my head. The will is much more present, and it's very important, I think. So those are kind of like the things I've been focusing on, because it's a beautiful day today, but it's been kind of so windy, cold, and you get time to get deep in some thoughts and aspects of reality and life. And you know, of course you have to do that, of course, you know. Otherwise you're just like a bird, you know, mating and singing all the time and eating. We're humans, we're a bit different. We can analyze, map out what's going on somewhere else. We can map out our inner self for the benefit of ourselves. So yeah, with that, this is not a self-help video or whatever. It's just like some thoughts, something that I've been kind of interested in over the past weeks, kind of mapping out. And for me it's important because I've realized that time is not ever present, and there are times as a parent where you're kind of very busy with something. You just don't get the time to do whatever you feel like, even if you have like online work, you know. It's not always like what you want it to be, and that's fine. You know, you're not living for yourself only, you live for other people too. However, when you're at your best, you give other people your best. So if you feel like you kind of strayed away from the path, well, it's a good time to start writing about it. Just making mind maps, or like, you know, circles and lines and words. Because if you start to write something like a novel or whatever, like a text that's just like too stuck up, usually it's better to just go along with some lines and circles. One thing that makes me better is always this nature. And today, when I was out there on the shorter road trip, I really felt that, like, you know, I could live like this. So there are obligations, there is the mandatory school system also, there are many things that keeps you in place, but there's always a way of combining this. There's some strange animal there. Yeah, just a lovely thing when you do it. So please try it out. Just map out your memories of your best self, your best moments of deep content and relaxation and joyfulness that lasted, you know. And what brought you there, you know? Something brought us there. Of course, there's always the will. Everybody has faith and hope in every day. Even people who are totally destructive, they wake up and they go like, yeah, I'm gonna put on my role today and be self-destructive. That's my faith. That's what I believe in. You know, we choose what we believe in. Everybody wakes up each day with some kind of like shape, a curtain in their minds of what they are aspiring to, what they are, and so on. The thought is actually extremely more powerful than we realize. We easily forget that. And as I said, being analytical, realizing what's going on in the world is a good thing, but then having your own life in balance and harmony, that demands work, active work with yourself and your surrounding. And that's just what's so amazing. And that's why that whole business of self-help and self-guruing and all that is so huge, because people are so confused in all that. And yeah, just to end this video, like, my way of dealing with that is take what suits you, what's good for you, what you find to be helpful, and go with the easiest way. The less you need, the better. All right, I hope you get a good start of the week to come, and thank you for watching. All the best.